Hey guys, Coach Nate is here to help you guys get better at Valorant. In today's lesson, we will be learning about an important skill to help us win more fights, and that skill is called crosshair placement. By the end of this workout, you will be able to understand what good crosshair placement looks like and how to improve and implement this into your games. Ever wonder how someone swings the corner and it feels like they are already aiming at your head, like they knew you were there through the wall? Even though it may feel like they have walls, in reality they are just using proper crosshair placement to give them an advantage. So now it's our time to utilize this skill. Let's start with a quick warm up. Hop into a deathmatch, but the entire time, let's not worry about how many kills we get, but rather let's try and keep our crosshair at our enemy's head level the entire time. As you run around the map, try and keep in mind how the map changes, addressing our crosshair if there are any ledges or changes of terrain on the map, whether that be staring into heaven on Haven or running up along B on Bind. Our goal should be to adjust for our changing height and the opponent's changing height. After every death or every time you run into another opponent, try and take a mental note of whether you were successful in having your crosshair at their head level. Now that we are warmed up, let's hop into the range and break down this technique. Head over and spawn in some practice spots. Let's choose one bot and place our crosshair on its head. Now, try and move from side to side and keep our crosshair on the bot's head. You might find this difficult at first, and that's okay. Crosshair placement can be broken down in many different ways, but this is the purest form. Not having to adjust to the height of your opponent's head will give you an edge and might be the deciding factor between winning or losing a gunfight. After a minute of strafing side to side, try backing up over the steps and move up and down the steps while trying to keep the crosshair on the bot's head. Let's do this for a minute. While we do these drills, we want to make sure we are moving our mouse in the most linear path possible. This is going to help us move our mouse in the most efficient way possible. The next component of crosshair placement is the idea of pre-aiming. Pre-aiming is where we have our crosshair pre-placed on where our enemy is behind the wall before we even peek them. This combined with having good crosshair head level placement is what makes the enemy feel like we have wall hacks. When done properly, it can seem like you knew where the enemy was before they even knew you existed. To practice this, now let's back up even further and move behind the wall in the hallway. Now, I want you to try and visualize the bot you were aiming at through the wall. Create a mental picture of where he was, and then from there, place your crosshair on its head. Now, using the technique we first worked on, tracking the bot's head through the wall, swing out and see if you were right. See if you were able to correctly put your crosshair on the bot's head. Take about 5 minutes to work on this, switching to different bots and which side you're swinging on. Each rep should be broken down into two parts. First, place your crosshair at the wall where the bot's head should be, and then the second part is tracking and swinging. This may take a little bit of trial and error, but the better you get at visualizing the bot through the wall, the easier it will become. Finally, let's move over to the scenario part of the range. For this exercise, use the default scenario and start off with easy difficulty. In this part of the practice range, 3 bots will spawn in different parts of the map, and I want you guys to practice trying to guess where they are through the wall and trying to pre-aim the bots. Now the bots can spawn in different locations, so it's important to learn as you go. Once you have pre-aimed one corner, clear the next angle the same way you did it in drill 2. If you get caught off by one angle, the next time you run through the drill, make sure you clear it. Learning and progressing through every rep is the most important part of this task. Eventually, you can turn up the difficulty if you are finding that the easy mode is too easy. But the important thing is to make sure you are actually pre-aiming and not flicking to the target. Now that we know what good crosshair placement is and how it works, the next step is to practice, practice, practice. The goal of having good crosshair placement is so we can limit the number of flicks and how big of flicks we have to do in-game. Ye, for example, who is one of the best pros in the world, has immaculate crosshair placement, which means that the flicks he does have to make are relatively small. Yes, he does have his highlights, but the other 90% of his frags are all from good crosshair placement. Also, While we want to have good crosshair placement all of the time, that is simply not possible in a game like Valorant. Whether it's jet updrafting, raise satcheling, or neon sliding across your screen, you always have to be prepared for anything and everything. Good crosshair placement can't be used to its fullest potential without good communication and proper utility usage either. So, if you're struggling at the beginning, just keep in mind that the skill will continue to improve and improve as you keep playing this game. So, for your next two unrated or competitive games, focus solely on crosshair placement. Regardless of win or loss, try and improve on this one skill. I hope everyone was able to take something away from this video. From Iron to Radiant, crosshair placement is an integral and fundamental skill in Valorant. It will only get better and better over time. As you play more and your game sense improves, the more your crosshair placement will become subconscious in your gameplay. When that happens is when you can start to focus on all the other parts of this game. My name is Coach Nate, and I hope everyone has a great day.